So this is the most important thing about the IRS scandal. That's all you need to know, is that the guy who was at the head of the IRS during this scandal happening was a Bush appointee. A Bush appointee. That's important. That should be in caps, in bold, just like it is on my paper right here. It says a Bush appointee. So it's unlikely that this was really a political hit job by Barack Obama, correct?
It seems fairly unlikely that Obama could talk that guy into doing his political dirty work. I also think now in hindsight, with this sort of idea that you punish the guy after the guy, we should have impeached Ford.
Yeah.
That would have sent a clear message that kind of Watergate bullshit will not stand. Right?
Very nice. Yeah, yes, yeah. We sent a clear message
totally, yeah.
to whoever wants to legally wiretap and lie and all that stuff and commit impeachable offenses that we will impeach his successor.
Well, you know what? But it's a very Bushian way to look at the world. They're like, we got attacked by those guys in Afghanistan. Yeah. We're going to invade Iraq, send Afghanistan send the Taliban a clear message. Yeah.
So the fact that the guy in charge of the IRS was a Bush appointee, that should be screamed at the top of their lungs every time a Democrat goes on television and talks about the IRS scandal. So here is the guy, Daniel Pfeiffer from the White House. He's coming on Meet the Press to make that point in a very, very gentle way. Here he goes.
The head of the IRS when this happened was actually a Bush appointee because the IRS appointments extend beyond one presidency, and two, the acting commissioner is a career civil servant.
The other question is, should Congress have known more? Were they repeatedly misinformed? Look at this.
So I don't know if you noticed, he made the point I just made. Did you see David Gregory? Like, I didn't even notice. Well, anyway, could he have made that point any shittlier? Is that a word, shittlier?
He kind of threw it away.
Hey, Mr. Gloss over the most important part of the thing there.
Right. One, you're a murderer. Two, you forgot milk. You know, I mean, like whoa.
He buried the lead.
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah, like he's a Bush appointee, and two is a career civil service employee. Yeah.
And he's trying to look, well, he's doing that thing where he looks so reasonable, like, because that worked out so well for Obama to be reasonable. So that's what he's doing. Yeah, well, number one, it was a Bush appointee. Number two, what? What's that number one? Would you please shout it? Let it sink in.
I don't know. I don't know why we can't repeat it, and why. Like you can be casual about it. Like, look, you say exactly what you said. For this to be a political scandal, there had to be sort of a political element to it. And the person who orchestrated this was a Bush appointee. So I'm not saying that it's not bad and that there wasn't some stuff of the IRS that needs to be investigated, but it was a Bush appointee. So if you're going to make that argument, the White House ordered it. They ordered it through a Bush appointee. That makes no sense.
And the Inspector General report, which was asked for by the Republicans in Congress, said this was not politically motivated, this targeting of the Tea Party groups from the IRS. The Inspector General says it's not political. Even if it was, the guy in charge of the IRS was a Bush appointee. It's a big scandal.
Huge, giant scandal. And also, the whole point is that these are political organizations that had their, as the first clip that you played indicates, that part of this is that they had their tax-exempt status delayed.
Yes.
Which really is another way of saying that is that they weren't rubber stamped. They're not supposed to be rubber stamped.
Right.
It's an application.
Yes.
You have to qualify.
Yes.
Like, I don't, there's some chance that this isn't even anything at all, that it's nothing, that they were actually doing their job effectively.
By the way, every one of those applicants, the real scandal in this whole thing is that they all got approved for tax-exempt status when we all know that most of those groups are overtly political. They shouldn't be approved. Not one of them didn't get approved. They all got approved.
Yeah.
There's no scandal. There couldn't be less of a scandal.
That's outrageous that they all got approved. They're political organizations. You shouldn't get tax-exempt
status. That's the outrage. They have it upside down and backwards, of course.
It's the Tea Party, and they're bad. We already know they're bad. So it's not even an issue.
It's not even.